So James is having a cauliflower crust pizza this time. He has artichoke hearts on it, as well as the other ingredients, and some chip cut pumpkin fries. And I'm having cognac noodles. That's the shirataki noodles with a marinara sauce. So it's this package. And it's the whole package I'm eating because it's supposed to be 3 servings per package, but that looks like a decent sized serving for me, honestly. So, and that's only 30 calories for that whole plate of
pretty
pasta.
impressive.
Yeah, plus the sauce, right? And I'll be talking about these things. So, well, James just drank his kale juice mixed with carrot.
That was pretty good. It just tastes like grass.
Really?
You know, like getting behind a too energetic lawnmower and eating a little bit of grass.
Let's see. I'm drinking bell pepper with kale.
Yeah. Anyway, that's carrot juice. That was pretty good.
Well, I didn't put that much kale in because
we don't have that
mass
much
amounts
left,
of kale given to us lately. So
the season's largely run its course.
So I'd have to go out to the store and buy mass amounts of kale, and that's just not going to happen right now.
So massacre.
Anyway, but yeah, if you've never had these cognac noodles before, you look at this plate and you go, wow, that looks just like spaghetti, or pretty close enough that you're going to try it because you're like, wow, only 30 calories for that whole plate full of spaghetti. But James has tried them before, and he won't eat them. He won't eat these cognac noodles because they have a texture of intestines, and that can be off-putting.
Is it okay if I have a bite? I've eaten up this fork already.
Here, I can feed you.
Oh, it's
It'll
hot.
be fun. It's not hot. It just looks hot because it's outside and it's steamy. See?
Not that much fun. But I'm telling you, the ones that look, it's mainly the look.
Okay, so you like this look better than the other?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be able to
do you
eat
think
that.
you'd be able to eat this then?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's
okay.
the look. It's amazing how that other stuff looks.
So there you go.
So slimy.
That product
That's how much a look can affect
gets James's seal of approval, and
there we go. Bang! Seal of approval. I'm picky about food. Well, I can eat a lot of things, like if it's juiced. That's the amazing thing about the juicing that you do.
Yeah.
I mean, kale, if you've got to kind of linger over it, it is very, very difficult to deal with.
Yes.
But if you can just get it down in one big swig, and then wash it down with some water, and then put some food in after, to kill something like the taste, or to something like kill the taste, then it's handleable. A lot of it, right?
Yeah, you can drink a lot of kale if you really set your mind to it.
But eating that same amount would be very cruel.
And I should have put some beet balls on this spaghetti.
Not meatballs, but beet balls. There we go. See, she's got a name now for everything, right?
Yeah, I do.
She's probably got a name for Donald Trump, but she's not going to mention it. I have several, but I'm not going to mention it.
No, I don't have any comments about that.
We usually just stick to what we're reading, the political comments and stuff like that.
I mean,
not to say we don't get political, but
sure. But it'll be based on whatever we're reading.
Yeah, this is good pizza.
It's good pasta.
A little hard to eat with the fingers because it doesn't.
But yeah, if you're doing a detox right now, because it's easy, relatively. It's relatively easy to do a detox just after the full moon. I don't know why, it just is. So if you're planning to detox, it's a good time. It's easier to give up whatever foods. So
That was a pretty good full moon. That was our 16th anniversary. Very good looking moon.
very bright
Very bright.
and far away. James
And
will
far.
explain why.
Will I?
Yes, you will, because you explained it to me. So
Well, not
explain
very
it.
well, I don't
Okay,
think.
well, try to explain it.
It looked very bright. It was just after sunset, so it was low in the sky. So it looked smaller, you were saying. And it did.
It did look small.
And the reason apparently why the moon looks a lot smaller when it's at its what's called its culmination, its highest point in the sky. It should basically be
You said lowest,
like
but you
this.
meant highest before. Yeah. Go ahead.
highest.
Yeah.
Is because it's coming through less atmosphere. When it's on the horizon, it's coming through more atmosphere. And so it appears dimmer. Just the way the sun appears dimmer. You can kind of almost look at it, not that it survives, when it's just plunked on the horizon, right? Because it's coming through more atmosphere, more junk. More light is getting filtered out by that atmosphere. And so what the mind does is it adjusts. So it's saying, if it's brighter, like it's still, cameras show this to us, photographs show this to us, it still takes up the same angle of vision. It doesn't matter if it's bright or if it's dim. And so we look at it when it's up in the sky up there at let's say about 45 degrees angle, and we say, oh, like it's much brighter there, but it's taking up the same angle of vision. Therefore, it is farther away. And when we see it on the horizon and it's dimmer, it takes up the same angle of vision, but it's dimmer. We say, oh, what we say is it's smaller out there, actually. Whereas we see it as much, much bigger on the horizon.
All right. I find
didn't
another
explain
thing
it well.
interesting.
Anyway,
No, that's
I'm
okay.
tired
He did a
from
better
the
job when he talked me through it. But that's okay.
I'll explain
still
one of these
fine.
days when I did some photocopying.
So we watched
my
this
backup.
first season of this, or what is it? No, it's the third season. I've never seen this show before. Okay.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. But it was actually not bad. At first, when we put it on, we're like, oh, this is slow. And,
Well, I didn't say that. I just demonstrated by falling asleep.
Yeah. But the story unravels. And then at the end, it's not nearly as interesting as you have all this just wild ideas of what's going on along through this series, through the show, and then at the end, it's actually pretty much it's not that awful. It's awful.
Did they finally solve the mystery for the year?
They did.
Well, that's good.
And I'm not gonna let on what happened.
She's already given away, though. But you probably figure it out if you've seen the first two seasons, that they maybe solve the mystery by the end of the season.
Maybe. But it was interesting. And I would recommend watching it if you're into mysteries or like police mysteries.
Yeah.
So
Which really aren't that mysterious.
they're not, but this one I didn't know what was happening. Honestly, I didn't know who did it or what was going on, and they were even kind of trying to lead you along for some of it. Well, the interviewer was, right? Because the interviewer is presenting more information as they go along. But anyway, so I'd recommend that. Now, the reason that I have borrowed a bunch of romance novels out of the library, what I did is I borrowed the ones that are most popular, most highly rated. so that I could research them. And
why are we researching them?
because James wants us to write.
Sorry, did I get that?
That's fine. I can wipe that off just fine. So
I don't know how that happened.
it doesn't matter. So anyway, James wants us to write some romance stuff together.
Or at least one romance. See how it goes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And
'Cause
I
there's gotta
have
be a-
never been into the genre.
Yeah.
No.
I had to review some for the Mealers, a student newspaper way back when. At least they ended up in our mail for review purposes. And I was the reviewer, so it was kind of shunted off to my desk. And why me? I read a little bit of. I don't think I got to win a book. We also got sci-fi stuff. And I was going, why me? And it turns out the romance stuff was, if anything, better than or not as bad as the sci-fi stuff. So.
Yeah. Anyway, so I would highly recommend that book. I did not expect to like it. It's about a woman who she's through her marriage, and it wasn't very good, and it wasn't good. And so she has a couple kids, and she has a brace on her leg and stuff like that. So she
Challenge.
she has some challenges with maybe, thinking, oh, it's going to be hard to find somebody who's going to be into me or whatever, right? And she gets on the market, and she's looking to try everything.
Oh.
Not really. It's pretty vanilla. But it's set in Alberta.
Where
So
was it
there's-
published?
No, you can look at here.
No,
And
it's public library.
there's a couple have marked some stuff, but anyway, I didn't mark the book. I just marked with my bookmark.
Yeah, exactly right.
I
We
would
don't
never
like
do
people who
that.
mark books.
We get very
library
mad
books.
when we find marks in books.
That's shameful.
So many times, like even when people think, oh, I'm doing a favor by correcting this spelling mistake, please don't. Not
Yeah,
your
I know.
book.
Let other people find it.
Yeah.
Let other people get that feeling.
Like there's a
It's
spelling
superior to-
mistake on page 11 of this book.
See?
It's a correct, like it's an actual word. It's just not supposed to be the word that's used there. So it got missed by spell check. That's all.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Before we go further, from Cincinnati, Ohio. It's a long way to go.
really. But the author does a great job of not only keeping you interested. So this would be a great book. You sit back with your lover and read before you get into action or whatever. Or just on your own, whatever. But it's believably, like the different things, like the atmosphere in the bar and this and that. It's believable. These places, everything is really quite believable about it.
Does it mention Calgary and Lethbridge and stuff like that?
It mentions Calgary.
Cool.
And what was the next place? She moved to, I don't know,
Airdrie?
Rocky Mountain House or something?
That's an awesome name.
I
And
wasn't
it's
really-
awesome scenery around it.
Yeah.
That was on that highway that you like so much. I think it's Highway 11.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
So, I mean, you can, while you're reading this, you can picture where they are,
Yeah.
if you're in Alberta.
If you at all care, no, yeah.
And the descriptions are great. I followed it right along. There's a little too much romance in it for me. Nobody has that. Okay. Anyway, but besides that, I think it's worth reading.
So, all you people from Cincinnati, it's not that much fun to be in Alberta. Hey, Maynard.
So I'm gonna talk a little bit more about Lyme disease. Page 41. In infected patients, the organisms are found most commonly in blood vessel walls, intracellular endothelial cells, and erythrocyte organisms seen in clumps inside the cell. They're also seen in macrophages, white blood cells, lining the sinuses of lymph nodes, in nodal germinal centers, in non-necrotic areas of inflammation and in areas of suppurating necrosis. Since they're also erythrocytic parasites. Intra-erythrocytic parasites. I don't know.
I think that's
They
killing
evade the
red
host.
corpuscles or something like that.
They evade the host immune response, which makes blood immune testing very difficult, with only 20 to 25% positive results in clinically infected patients. For individuals with an intact immune system, the infection remains primarily within the lymphatics, with a symptomatic immune response that can last 2 months to 2 years in chronic cases. 2004, paper by Edelson et al. Found that 34.5% of the ticks in New Jersey, I'm not sure in the book, I don't know, because analyzed by PCR technology carried Bartonella. 42, Bartonella adheres to or is phagocytosed, engulfed by macrophages. These cells secrete vascular endothelial growth factor. VEGF is thought to lead to the development of new blood vessels. On testing, a high level of VEGF is an indication that the individual may be harboring the bacterium. Symptoms of Bartonellosis. Fever of unknown origin, liver and spleen problems. There can be microabscesses in liver and spleen, usually diagnosed with the help of abdominal imaging, CAT scan. Often there's abdominal pain. 3. Loss of appetite with weight loss, gastroparesis with difficulty digesting food or major food allergies, corn, gluten, dairy, sugar, etc. I'm just going to mention the microabscesses in the liver just for a minute, because we were just watching a show about, what was it called? The one about that had the liver divination and the Etruscans. And I was saying that, that's probably a good idea to, raise your sheep or whatever and look at the liver and go, are there any problems on that? Then maybe I shouldn't be offering it to the gods and, barbecuing it and eating it, right? So, so here you go. You might be able to avoid Lyme disease by looking at the liver of whatever you're eating. Because honestly, I wonder about transmission of disease. Whether you can eat Lyme disease and get it that way. I don't know. I don't think anyone really knows. And, or it's, it's at least it's a concern, right? I don't know that it's a good idea to be eating anything that's sick, right? But anyway, I guess I'll go on. Loss of appetite with weight loss, gastroparesis with difficulty digesting food and major food allergies, corn, gluten, dairy, sugar, etc., anorexia, bulimia, intermittent nausea, headache described as gripping head and vice evolving into migraine. Ocular symptoms, pain in bottoms of feet, like walking on broken glass, in morning especially. Sudden psychiatric manifestations, extreme anxiety, depression, mania, thoughts of intrusion, paranoia, light sound sensitivity, nightmares, often of dismemberment or like vampires or something. Insomnia with poor sleep quality, rashes including stria, angiomata, easy bruising, lesions without known trauma, heart palpitations and strange chest pain, recurring sore throats, peripheral neuropathies or nerve irritation, burning, vibrating, numb, shooting, electric shock type, but with normal EMG results. Ringing in ears, tremors and muscle twitching, confusion and disorientation, and depersonalization. Swollen lymph nodes, especially under the arms and in the neck and groin. Sticky or thick sweat, often in the morning or late afternoon. Stroke. 44. 2 main serological tests are currently in use: IFA, indirect immunofluorescent assay, and EIA, enzyme immune assay. Positive IgM-EIA, as in Lyme disease, indicates active disease. A negative test does exclude acute disease. On testing IgG-EIA after 1 year, less than 25% show positive serology. 45. Only the aminoglycosides showed bactericidal activity. Lack of cell membrane penetration, the intracellularity of the organism spread out through the patient system, the fact that its habitat is the vascular wall of the blood vessels, particularly the capillary bed, makes this tough to eliminate. 47. Babesia, like malaria, has a complicated life cycle which involves the sexual reproduction in the erythrocytes of their mammalian host, but sexual reproduction in the ticks. The organism at each stage has a different name. Trophozoites, inside red blood cells and divide by budding. Merozoites, which invade other red cells. Gametocytes, ingested with blood by tick. Eukinites, I don't know what that is, invade ticks' salivary glands, and sporoblasts, which remain dormant while the engorged tick sheds its outer skin. At the next tick blood meal, sporoblasts are activated and can liberate 10,000 sporozoids, which enter tick salivary glands and then into the vertebrate host through the skin. All active tick stages feed on white-tailed deer. That's all I'm going to talk about for now.